In the bustling city of Enugu, where life moved at the pace of a busy anthill, there was a small restaurant on the corner of Equilobia Street that everyone knew about. It was called Ifeoma's Kitchen. The restaurant wasn't fancy, just a simple wooden structure with plastic tables and chairs arranged under a weathered zinc roof, but it drew crowds like a magnet. Rich men in sleek SUVs parked alongside motorcyclists and traders, all eager to taste the food that was said to be the best in town. Students flocked there after lectures, mechanics took breaks from their garages, and even high-ranking politicians would sometimes stop by in their convoy, their bodyguards standing outside while they devoured plates of jollof rice, egusi soup, or yukodo. The owner, Mama Ifeoma, was a cheerful, heavy-set woman in her late 40s. She was always smiling, her gap-toothed grin as much a part of her brand as her delicious meals. Clad in brightly patterned ankara, she would sweep through the restaurant, greeting customers by name and making small talk. Everyone loved Mama Ifeoma. Her food had a taste that couldn't be explained. It wasn't just good, it was addictive. Once you ate at Ifeoma's Kitchen, you couldn't stop coming back. But behind the cheerful smiles and the clinking of plates in the busy restaurant, there was a dark secret. Mama Ifeoma's success had grown over the years. She started as a roadside seller, with just a small pot of beans and fried plantains. But somehow, her business expanded rapidly. Within a few years, she had built her restaurant, and her fame spread far and wide. Her food wasn't cheap, but that didn't stop anyone. People would rather skip other expenses just to have a taste. Some customers even complained that they often found themselves craving her food at odd hours, unable to eat anywhere else without feeling dissatisfied. "What is her secret?" whispered Ngozi, who owned a food stall a few streets away. Her business had suffered greatly since Ifeoma's Kitchen opened. What does she do differently? People speculated endlessly. Some said she used rare spices imported from India. Others claimed she was simply a natural-born cook. A few daring voices whispered that she might be using charms, but these rumors were quickly dismissed. After all, wasn't Mama Ifeoma always at church, leading prayers and donating generously? Obinna was a taxi driver who had been eating at Ifeoma's Kitchen for over 3 years. One day, after finishing a plate of steaming yam porridge with peppered fish, he noticed something strange. He felt weak, not the kind of tiredness that came from overworking, but something deeper. He had been feeling this way for months, yet every time he tried to stop eating at Mama Ifeoma's, his stomach would churn, and he would feel restless until he returned. "I no understand," he told his friend Chike. "Every time I eat here, I feel tired, but I still dey come back. Wetin dey worry me?" Chike laughed. "You don't know good food when you taste it. Leave matter, Obinna. Ifeoma's food is worth every weakness." But Obinna wasn't convinced. Something didn't feel right. Mama Ifeoma had several apprentices who worked in her kitchen. One of them, Amoka, was a sharp-eyed young woman who had been with her for 2 years. Amoka admired Mama Ifeoma's skill but often wondered about the strange rules she imposed. For example, Mama Ifeoma never allowed anyone to prepare the soup base for her signature dishes. She always insisted on doing it herself, locking the kitchen door during the process. "It's my secret recipe," she would say with a smile. "When you're as experienced as I am, you'll understand." Amoka also noticed that Mama Ifeoma always seemed to be in a peculiar mood on certain days, particularly when she came to work with a scarf wrapped tightly around her head and avoided conversations. One evening, as Amoka was cleaning up the kitchen, she saw Mama Ifeoma dispose of a small bowl in the back of the restaurant. Out of curiosity, Amoka checked it and nearly screamed. Inside the bowl was what looked like congealed blood mixed with spices. The realization struck her like lightning: it was menstrual blood. Terrified but determined to find out more, Amoka began watching Mama Ifeoma closely. She noticed that the older woman would disappear into the kitchen every month with fresh ingredients and her small bowl, only to emerge hours later with steaming pots of soup. One night, Amoka followed Mama Ifeoma after closing time. Hiding behind the kitchen door, she saw something that chilled her to the bone. Mama Ifeoma was standing over a pot, chanting softly as she stirred. Beside her was the bowl, its contents being added to the soup. Amoka gasped, and Mama Ifeoma froze. "Who is there?" she barked, her cheerful voice replaced by something cold and menacing. Amoka stepped out of the shadows, trembling. "Mama, what are you doing?" Mama Ifeoma sighed heavily, her expression unreadable. "You shouldn't have seen this." Reluctantly, Mama Ifeoma explained. Years ago, when she was struggling to feed her children, she had visited a powerful herbalist who gave her a solution. "If you want people to keep coming to you, give them a piece of yourself," the herbalist had said. Desperate, Mama Ifeoma agreed. The herbalist instructed her to mix her menstrual blood into her cooking once a month, a ritual that would bind her customers to her food. "It's not evil," Mama Ifeoma said defensively. "It's just a way to survive. Look at me now, I've built a life for my family. No one is hurt." Amoka stared at her, horrified. "No one is hurt? What about Obina? What about all the people who feel sick and can't stop coming back? What you're doing is wrong." Mama Ifeoma's face darkened. "You don't understand, girl. This is my life's work. If you tell anyone, you will regret it." Amoka couldn't stay silent. The next day, she told Obina and a few other loyal customers what she had seen. At first, they didn't believe her, but when she described the symptoms they had been experiencing, weakness, cravings, and unease, they began to put the pieces together. The news spread like wildfire, and soon the entire city was talking about Ifeoma's kitchen. People stopped coming, and Mama Ifeoma's restaurant, once a bustling hub, became eerily quiet. When confronted by the community, Mama Ifeoma tried to deny everything. "These are lies," she cried, clutching her Bible. "I've been faithful to my God and my customers." But the evidence was undeniable. People had started to recover after avoiding her food for just a few days. Mama Ifeoma was shamed and ostracized, her once admired name now a symbol of greed and deception. Amoka, though shaken, was hailed as a hero for exposing the truth. She opened her own small restaurant, one where the food was made with love and honesty, and slowly, people began to trust again. Years later, the story of Mama Ifeoma became a cautionary tale in Enugu. Her restaurant remained abandoned, a haunting reminder of how greed and desperation could lead to ruin. And so, the people of Enugu learned to value not just the taste of their food but the integrity of the hands that prepared it.